since I'm a midget. All right, well, here goes nothing. Run! The word repeated in my mind, screaming like breaking machinery. My lungs burned. Breath came in shallow gasps. Blood roared in my ears. My heart beat too fast, thumping too close to my ribs. My bare feet pounded the earth in a zigzagging path. Twigs snapped, and leaves rustled in my mad dash to freedom. Howls pierced the night. Sirens blared. Jeers and curses followed me. The wall of noise that rose behind me almost drowned out my racing pulse. The rush of the Hudson River echoed through the forest, drawing me to it. Run! My body shrieked as I wove through between trees. Their upturned roots created perilous snares that could lead to my doom. If I fell, the tortures of hell couldn't compare to those I would endure in Raventech labs. I had survived enough to know that. The band of mutant hounds snapped me back to the present. I focused on the trail before me. Twisting my body, I skated around the edges of a briar patch. Rocks rolled underneath my feet. Sure, it hurt. How could wood and stone jabbing into the tender flesh on the soles of my feet not hurt? I stumbled, falling on my hands and knees. The stones pierced my skin. I righted myself, then took off again. I needed to navigate this obstacle course that nature had wrought. It was my only escape route. The sharp bark told me that the mutts had scented me. The distance between the hounds and I grew smaller. I pushed harder. I needed to reach a break in the trees. The hounds trailing me were as relentless as demons. They looked at two, grotesque combinations of dog breeds that formed a hellish kennel. The alpha of that kennel was a mongrel my father had named Anubis. Anubis was the first of my father's genetic mutations. Half jackal, half rottweiler, the two unmatched breeds fought with each other for bodily dominance. His was the bark I'd heard, and the crash of the underbrush snapped at twigs, and ominous howls proved that he refused to lose my trail. The adrenaline pumped out as my temperature rose. Growling broke my train of thought, sending chills down my back like skittering spiders. I turned, fearing the worst. Anubis stood at the top of a hill, his jaw pulled back in a malicious snarl. Strings of jewel dripped from his stretched jaws. A fierce growl rumbled in his throat. He looked me over, weighing me his prey. He was stronger than I was. When I shrank, he howled and launched himself down the beach toward me. I turned and ran, my heart just about bursting in an adrenaline rush. As I ran, I looked over my shoulder and almost broke my ankle in the process, but it paid off when Anubis leapt. I had time to put up my left arm. He spread his legs so that my body would have to catch his. Anubis hit me, the momentum forcing us to the ground. His mouth locked onto my left arm in a bone-snapping bite. His teeth ground against the fragments in my forearm, digging deep into the muscle and sending jolts of pain to my brain. My vision tumbled and sound dulled for a moment. Then reality snapped back. Dog saliva flew onto my face, and Anubis' hot and disgusting breath filled my nose. I kicked at his ribs as the ground dug into my back and butt. Dirt and grit flew up from my struggle, sticking to my sweat-soaked skin. My right hand reached out and found a sturdy rock. I bashed it against Anubis' head. All this managed to do was bring more blood to the battlefield. The temperature grew intense. At first, I thought it was the air, but it was inside of me. Magma burned through my veins and set my organs ablaze. My heart raced, yet again too fast. Pressure racked my head, the thrashing against my skull and sending shivers over my scalp. Anubis' growls and screams of pain filled my ears as fright tightened my throat. It was too much, too goddamn too much to handle. I couldn't move, couldn't fight Anubis. A scream roared out of me as an inferno ignited my body. The sweat coating me steamed, hot and burning, and my skin burst into flames. Scrubs burned away, leaving unblemished skin beneath. Anubis yelped and leapt away. I scrambled to my feet, holding my broken arm as still as possible. I'd cast fire, but never like this. What I'd done before was harmless. This could set the entire state ablaze. The beast howled. Rage burned in his eyes, as if my fighting him were impossible. He circled me. I turned, keeping him within my sights. When he ran at me again, I lifted my arms and pushed, screaming as loud as I could to force all my hatred towards the beast. Nubs pressed against my skin, at my shoulder blades. The muscles writhed like snakes, rearranging themselves as my skin pushed backwards, before something exploded out of the back of my shoulders. New muscles stretched as whatever surged out of my back arched, casting a shadow over my body. The broken pieces of my radius and illness scraped against each other as my fragmented arm reknit itself. The mingled flesh torn muscle, and damaged nerves reknit. Even the surgical cord tore its way out of my body as a blaze encircled me in a roar of heat and sound. The flames then flew at Anubis, burning hot enough to cremate. I watched, horrified as tufts of Anubis' short fur began to lift, and his skin sizzled and bubbled. The smell of sulfur and cooked meat thickened. The howl that was in Anubis' throat cut short. I had just shot fire out of my body and burned Anubis to death. Anubis, the alpha of my father's mental elements. I had killed him.